Welcome back to the Functional Spirituality Podcast. My name is Ava, and I'm so delighted today to offer you part 4 of the Mindwork series. So the topic today is self-suggestion, autosuggestions, and how to create your own recorded self-hypnosis tape. So simply, self-suggestion is the use of words or phrases to influence our subconscious mind. And we've already gone through how the subconscious mind is the programming, the map of reality, the framework, the operating system in which our conscious thoughts, behaviors, and circumstances arise out of. So it's so important to get access to the subconscious mind, to know deeper what are these unconscious layers of ourselves that are creating and supporting our current lived experience. It's important to get to know that better, but also it's so valuable to be able to access and change that programming and to update the operating system in alignment with our conscious goals. And this is valuable for pretty much any pursuit that we might have, because all of our pursuits are part of our lived experience, and all of our lived experience is a manifestation or is the end result of the programming that lies in our subconscious mind. So it's said that our programming has been set in place in our formative years. And it's said that as children, we were operating in theta brainwave states, which are a brainwave state which make it very helpful for absorbing information. So the formative years from 0 to 7, when our subconscious mind didn't really have anyone to guard the gate. In fact, we were more like a sponge for information in the formative years. And this is when we started to really gather as much information as possible from our environment to tell us what the world was and how we should show up in it and how we should live in it, what we should believe, what we needed to know about all of this experience that was pouring in through our senses at an early age. So remember that alpha and theta brainwave states are the more relaxed brainwave states that lead us into the sleeping brain states. And they're the states in which we can learn and absorb information from the environment. In our daily lived experience, our brains are in a beta wave state. And this is the wave state of our conscious mind. So as we grew up and the conscious mind developed, and we switched more into daily life thinking, where we're consciously organizing ourselves against the environment, against what we think is happening in the present moment, this quick thinking that is always happening in your waking state is the beta wave state. And it's not really present moment thinking, because as long as it's thoughts that are moving through our minds in this beta brainwave state, it's based on the thinking structures which are set in place in the unconscious mind. Now, as adults, we seek to reprogram our subconscious mind, because in our lived experience now, there are goals and outcomes and circumstances that we choose consciously for our experience. However, because of the way that our subconscious has been set up, the thoughts and behaviors and results that we're getting and experiencing on a daily basis might not add up, because they were programmed at a time that's different from the time now when we're having these conscious thoughts and wishes. But it's not enough to just offer ourselves suggestions, thoughts, and phrases now. Because when we're awake, the conscious mind is moving in its beta state. And sometimes it's spoken about as a guard, because as long as we're awake and the beta wave state is predominant, it's preventing the subconscious mind from getting programmed. And this is a useful mechanism of our biology. So this is a useful mechanism of our mind to prevent ourselves from continuously getting reprogrammed with every little bit of information and every suggestion that comes in. So the beta wave state acts as a guard to prevent our map of reality being jolted and reorganized at any opportunity, at any new suggestion that comes in. So how can we then use cues from our conscious mind, our conscious wishes, the language, the words that make up our goals in this moment as adults? How can we translate them into the subconscious mind programming? The way to access the subconscious mind as adults is in the same way the subconscious mind was accessed as young children, by putting it in alpha and theta brain waves, by putting it in alpha and theta brain states, and then offering suggestions. However, the suggestions don't have their power in the actual words. It's not the words and the sentence that holds the suggestion power. So let's look at how the subconscious mind was programmed initially in our young age. The programming was based on the emotional impact, the significance, and the exposure of a certain cue from the environment. So it wasn't necessarily the words that programmed the subconscious mind, as the subconscious mind relates more to the old brain and it doesn't have its own language center. It's more of an emotional, body-based, experiential, whole body, whole being experience of a moment that programmed that part of the brain. Now, as adults, we want to bypass the conscious mind and put ourselves back into the alpha and theta brain states and program the subconscious minds and activate learning through suggestions and cues that lead us to really feel an experience as if the experience was happening in the moment. So remember, the map of reality is not an arbitrary program. The map of reality that is in the subconscious mind has formed by and through our experience of the world. It was the best attempt of our being, our body, our minds to tell us how the world is. And if we want to experience the world and really feel that the world is abundant, safe, loving, satisfying, and so on, then we need to program our subconscious mind to support those types of experiences. And the programming, the suggestions are an experience. So it's circular in some ways. It's a way we hear a lot in these circles about fake it till you make it, which needs to be understood in a supportive way as well. But this definitely holds true in the self-suggestion game, that we want to fake it, or rather we want to suggest an experience through these auto-suggestion cues. So suggest an experience of actually feeling whatever it is that we want to program the subconscious mind to believe is possible for us to feel and to experience. So, for example, if one of the goals that you seek for your experience is to feel safe and loved, then a suggestion that you want to work at to program your subconscious mind in order to experience that more in your life, the suggestion would be something like, I feel loved, or something really colorful, something really emotive, words that resonate with you. So I feel the loving embrace of the universe and my heart in this moment. I made that one up off the top of my head, but we will speak more about how to formulate these cues. In general, they're going to have to be customized to you, to a cue that actually creates that experience for yourself. So it's not just a mantra or something to repeat in your mind. It's something to experience and feel in your body. And this is the way that we're going to program our subconscious mind quicker. On top of experiencing it yourself inside your system as if it was real, we also need to drop into that alpha and theta brainwave state. So when you actually do this work is really important, because there are these liminal periods in the day. And liminal means the spaces between wake and sleeping. So if the waking state is beta and the dreaming state or the sleeping state is delta, we pass from waking to sleeping through alpha and theta brainwave states. So doing any kind of subconscious mind work, or even if you're looking to the subconscious mind or to your intuition for deeper wisdom, or doing any self-suggestion and programming work, we want to do it in liminal states. So just after waking in the morning and just before sleeping at night, as well as in other relaxed states. So maybe after a final relaxation in yoga, after a meditation, and other times when you feel in that slightly altered mood, more relaxed, more connected to your intuition, and if you prefer, more connected to the subconscious mind. So to recap, as adults, in order to reprogram our subconscious mind, we need to provide conscious cues with words in our conscious mind and translate it into a body-based, emotive, subconscious experience. And the best time to do that is in liminal states. And the best time to do that will be when our brain state is in either alpha or theta. This helps to bypass the guard of the beta brainwave thinking. Remember that this process is unconscious mostly. So just because it's unconscious doesn't mean that we can't know it or understand it. It's just a different type of experience. It's a different type of thought. It's a different way of experiencing than our normal conscious thought, which takes up so much of our headspace that sometimes we think it's the only thing. But as most of us know, we have intuition, we have this subconscious, we have our body giving us messages. So this process is one that takes time. It's a process of self-discovery. It's not just a practice for results. So there are many examples in my own life where this type of work of self-suggestions has manifested exactly what I wanted in the material world. And there are also examples of where this type of work hasn't manifested exactly what I wanted in the world, but rather has shown me more about myself and what my processes are behind the wanting. And I think that's something really important to remember, that I definitely remember, that not everything I want is the best thing. And what I really want is to refine my experience of wanting. I want to know more about myself. Of course, I can go for my goals, but it's not really about getting material goals and material outcomes that is the most important thing for me. Trust me, it's something that I strive for and it's something that I want. But the most important thing for me is the inward journey, knowing more about myself, finding out those subtle inner places where I may be out of alignment and amplifying those places of where I am in alignment. And I want to conclude this episode by saying how important this work is once again. Everything that we think, which determines how we behave, which determines our results, everything is largely determined by how we're programmed. It's so important to look at our programming. It's so important and valuable to take responsibility for our results. We have a sense that we're an agent with free will, but we can also sense that we're operating on autopilot thoughts most of the time. Our subconscious mind is running the show 90 to 95% of the time. It's important. It conserves energy to have the operations that are important for us to be running on autopilot so we don't have to think about them. So it's so valuable to set up that programming and to set up the configurations and the parameters of that autopilot. Never feel guilty or shameful for wanting more out of your life and for wanting a richer experience. It's important that you feel fulfilled and that you feel connected and satisfied. It's important that you know yourself more. It's important that you feel fulfilled in your life. It's important that you pursue your purpose. And a big part of that is knowing how you tick, working with your mind, working with the operating system. We're a piece of technology, and knowing this more intimately and exercising control over our unconscious programming is important. Everything that you have or don't have in your life is because of the way you think. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you've gotten something out of it, and I look forward to showing you how to create a self-suggestion tape on the next episode.